I'd like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting for August 25, 2021. Roll call.
President Zipfo.
Here.
Vice President Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Lees. Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
So, stating the obvious, we have quite a night scheduled, quite an event for one of our own, and I would ask that the Tinnany family do the Pledge of Allegiance with us tonight, lead us. Pretty simple. All you do is you get started, and we'll take it from there. So. Okay, folks, so we have a couple of really nice things, one especially. I do want to start, however, there is a little bit of sad news. Some of you may know Bill Leesner. He has been a resident and great neighbor in Hatfield for probably 20 or more years. And for a number of years, those of you who attended our meetings kind of remembered him as not maybe one of the original back row guys, but one of the guys who would sit in the back and attend many of the meetings or all the meetings for many years. He really was the eyes and ears of our township in a lot of ways, and he gave of himself in a lot of ways to the township that was very unsung and unseen. But I can tell you, as a commissioner, and he lived in my ward, and also he regularly would reach out for Aaron and other members of the staff to just let them know that maybe a tree was in something was wrong, or a sign there was something needed to be adjusted or fixed. And it was constantly for the betterment of Hatfield, never for the betterment of himself or his own recognition. And with great sadness, unfortunately, Bill passed just yesterday morning after a long battle with cancer. Great family, great man, and if you would just join me in a moment of silence, and if you'd stand with me. Thank you. Okay, so some happy stuff. We'll start off, before we even get to the big happy event. I just want to let you know that prior to our meeting tonight, the four of us went over to Clements Field, hopefully someday more of a fully developed Clements Park. And we met with the Garden of Health volunteers, the coordinator and owner, and those of you who don't know who the Garden of Health is, we are partnering with them, and we've given them a number of acres of ground right at the edge of Clements Park to cultivate and grow food for low-income families in Hatfield. And with any luck, that might start as quickly as next year. And it was kind of funny, here they are doing this great stuff for us, and yet they took it upon themselves to give us a plaque. And so they certainly deserve the recognition, and I'll read to you what the plaque says. In appreciation of Hatfield Township, in recognition of your generous support in providing Garden of Health, Inc. food bank with farmland to grow fresh produce that will feed those in need in your community, thank you. And so I thought that was wonderful of them to do, and more importantly, I think this is a wonderful organization. They're great volunteers. I think it is made up almost exclusively of volunteers. I think there might be one actual employee, right? Carol, and that's it. And there was a dedicated group of them there, a band of brothers and sisters who showed up just to say thank you to us, and they're very, very excited about cultivating that land, and we're excited about having them there. So, like I said, sometime within the next year, with any luck, you'll see some development right at the edge, and it's right between the park and the street there, and it'll start off slow because there's some commitments to the land before that, but hopefully by maybe this time year, maybe November of next year, you'll see a real cultivated area, and it's going to be great for our residents, and it's going to be a great volunteer opportunity for people who are interested. So that was exciting to be a part of. All right, so with that, let me just get a couple of housekeeping items done. Is there a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers. Second by Commissioner Zimmerman. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments on agenda items? Okay, we're going to move on to our consent items. Is there a motion to move the consent items into the record? Motion by Commissioner Andrus,
Second.
second by Vice President Rogers. The consent items include the Board of Commissioners' regular meeting minutes of July 28, the HTMA meeting minutes of July 13, the North Penn Water Authority meeting minutes of June 22nd, the Treasurer's report for the month of August, and the bills payable. Paid bills in the amount of $163,994.29, and unpaid bills in the amount of $205,242.01. With that, I'll call the question. All in favor of moving those items into the record, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is moved into the record. And we can move into our recognition of service and retirement of Detective Dan Tinney. And so this is the fun part. This is why everyone's here. And so I want to start off before I have Chief take the ball.
May I ask him if he changed his mind yet, before we go through this? Just in case?
That's a fair question. Maybe we'll ask him in front of everyone when he's standing at the podium and really embarrass him.
We have a good shredder, Dan. We're good.
So, look, the people who are here, Dan, are the people who know you and love you. And so I say this to not just honor you, but also for those people who, for some reason, have not come across working with you. They know a little bit about you. So, you know, he's been with us for 30 years. And if you think about that, there's not many people who work at a location for 30 years anymore. I mean, it's kind of unheard of, and especially in what is really a very difficult job and a fantastic career for 30 years. Started in 1991. Certainly has built quite a following, as you can all see. By the way, I love the shirts for the Hatfield Neighbor Watch. We have not seen such an organized group of people come out for any event in the years that I've been here. I walked out that door and I saw that, and honestly, I thought, wow, I didn't realize we had so many people who were a part of the organization, and that is wonderful to see. And probably the most important thing I can say before I hand over the ball to Chief is this. And the people standing in the back have heard me say it, and I mean it, and I'll say it again, and I mean it. When you're part of our organization, you're not just a public servant, but you're part of our family. And really, the people who run this organization are the people who are standing in the back, and the folks who are sitting here. The commissioners are really just representatives of those people. And so while you might be retiring, today, so to speak, the truth is you never leave our family. And so I'm happy to say that for on behalf of the commissioners, if we can share kind of one thought and share one kind of concept of what we're trying to build here, it's that we have a family, and that when you leave, you're still a part of our family. And so it's bittersweet saying goodbye, but we're excited for you. And I have to tell you, you have a room full of people who are very excited to say nice things about you. So I'm sure you want me to shut up and move on. So with that, Chief, I'll meet you down at the podium. Apparently, I'm not done talking. I mean, I knew I had another small part, but I didn't realize that I was jumping right in. But I'm happy.
If you want to go.
Yeah, I can do the stuff. That's fine. So who I want to introduce is the people that are filling the room. Is the Neighborhood Watch. Peg and Ralph Harvey, if you could come up, because The watch is founded by these two and has members that all of you here did a fantastic job. I know Tina and Bob for many years and have been great members of the Neighborhood Watch, and thrilled to have you here as well. And I'm looking around, and honestly, I see a lot of faces that I'm very familiar with. Thrilled to see you, and I'm very happy to know that you're a part of our Neighborhood Watch. I know that as a group, Dan, they're going to come up and they're going to have you come up, and they have a little gift for you. So I'm going to hand over the microphone. I'm okay with a shirt. That'd be great.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Aaron, for allowing Neighborhood Watch to be part of tonight's meeting. As you know, my name is Ralph Harvey and my wife, Peg. We're the Neighborhood Watch coordinators for Hatfield. We are sponsored by the police, and our point of contact for many good years, Dan Tinney. Really good time. We meet quarterly here in the Township building. Dan usually has a presentation of some sort. And if it was Neighborhood Watch, it would probably be, making sure doors, windows locked or whatever. But the biggest thing too is that If you see something in your neighborhood that's not right because you know your neighborhood, call the police. Let them sort it out. Okay? Don't even try it for yourself, but call the police. If you're right, that's great. If you're wrong, they met a policeman. So that's really the whole idea behind Neighborhood Watch and the thumbnail sketch. Okay? And another part that we have, as the meeting ends, there's usually a town hall meeting with a policeman where public safety issues are asked and fielded by Dan and or another policeman that might be attending that night. And one thing I've said to other people before, he listens. He listens to everybody. He tries to answer every question. And if he can't, he'll get back to you. And the thing of it is, too, that if you need to talk to him one-on-one, he'll do that, too. Very, very good. And it's nice for the public to talk to somebody in the police department so they know what's going on, if it's able to be spoken about. And they get the answer from a policeman so they really get it straight, not the rumor from down the road. Okay? And that's a plus. And it's good that the community gets to see the police, and it's good that the police get to see those people that come to the meeting. And they might have learned for something that might be looked at later on. But that is what Neighborhood Watch is mostly all about. And we're happy to have had Dan for as many years as we did. Now, Officer Nowetner, he's here, and I thank you for taking over. You're going to keep the Neighborhood Watch program alive. Now, Dan has pretty much set a high bar, a real high bar. And there's some big shoes to fill. So what we did was we have a set of Tennessee tennis shoes. We'd like to give them to you. If you know you got some big shoes to fill, you're going to wonder, what did I do and what did I get myself into? But they're yours, and you, no problem. As you can see, a lot of Neighborhood Watch people are here. They're here to honor Dan and thank him for his time. And it is wonderful that he was the kind of guy that he was to take over, because, as I say, he set a high bar. And we thank him. Now, Peg would like to say a few words.
Great. Dan, there you are. Before I start, I'd like to ask all of our Neighborhood Watch folks if you would please stand up, because I would like to recognize you and like everyone to see who our gang is. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for staying here with us all this time. All right, Dan, here you go. Are you ready? Okay. Dan, Neighborhood Watch has been a journey for all of us, and because of your dedication and your commitment, we have become more knowledgeable through all of your presentations, the speakers, and all the literature that you've provided. You have been our point of contact with the Hatfield Township Police. Any questions or concerns any of the Neighborhood Watch folks has always been addressed. You have helped us learn how to make our neighborhoods better and safer. You taught us to keep eyes and ears open, and that we do. Dan, you have set a course that has led us to our growth and our success. So Dan, don't look at this as retirement, but consider this as your journey, a passage from one place to another. On behalf of the entire Neighborhood Watch group, we'd like to thank you, and we have a little something for you. Could you come up, please?
Vodka down, Dan. Put your vodka bottle down.
Ow. Those who can't see the distance, this is the shadow. Up, Neighborhood Watch.
come up.
Party and shake it a kick in the ass.
Careful, Mom. Watch that wire.
My hands are ice cold.
Oh, you was that, Chief?
How are you? Doing well. Oh, yeah? Yeah. That's good. Lisa, can you guys come up? Sure. Lisa, yeah, can you guys come up? You and the family?
Yeah.
Absolutely. While Dan's family comes up, I know he's going to be mad at me, but retired Sergeant Woodford is here. Scott, you know I had to get you. So he retired during COVID, and we never had a chance to do anything, so I just want to acknowledge him publicly and say thanks, Scott, for everything you've done. So I put a lot of thought into Dan, and that's probably why my head is empty, because I try. Dan, no, not because of you, because of me. He's a very hard character to pin down because he's such a good person as well as being such a good cop. And when we often talk about people being the heart of a department, and I would say, Dan, you're the conscience of this department. It's going to be very hard to fill. We all also heard about a cop's cop. Dan was a people's cop, always how people felt. Dan liked everyone. I hate to say liked, it's not like you're not here, but, and everyone,
Almost like I'm not here.
and in return, everyone liked Dan. You can see that. The neighborhood watch, they love Dan. The department loves Dan. We're sorry to see him go. And believe me, these goodbyes get harder and harder as we all get older, because we realize how much we mean to each other. Dan was a community policeman long before there was community policing. He's been here that long, and he was doing it before the rest of us even thought about it. I don't remember anyone ever saying a cross word about Dan in any way, inside or outside the department. 2 words embodied Dan: integrity and loyalty. Thank you, Pat Hanrahan. I had a discussion with Pat, and he filled me in on those things. Not that I didn't have them on mind, but he rattled them out. Dan has never won any accolades. He wanted to do his job and do it the right way. Steady, involved, competent, caring, and willing to help at every turn. Never complained about anything. If you asked him to do something, consider it done. And in turn, Dan did what many of us fail to do. He was able excuse me, this is kind of touching for me. He was able to separate work and home from his family. Or he was able to separate work and home because his family was his guiding force. And Dan, a career comes down to moments, it seems. Probably not enough. Then you're hired, some career highlights, and a goodbye. But Dan was so much more than that. I remember when Dan started. I remember Dan's canine dogs. Many of us in this room shared sorrow when Bill Chapman and Tom Starner passed. I remember hearing about a pretty girl named Lisa. I remember going to a U2 concert with Dan and Lisa. That was a good night. I remember Dan and Lisa getting married. I remember the birth of their sons. And now I remember Dan retiring. A few weeks ago, Dan's wife told me I would miss him. No truer words have ever been said, Lisa. And all of us will always remember Dan. The long and the short of it is there's a person behind the badge. Dan made sure that people knew that. He has been the finest of officers, a treasure to Hatfield. I know some people get a laugh out of this one, but I was watching the Hall of Fame ceremony a few weeks ago, and Charles Woodson spoke. He was a good football player. Most of you Eagles fans would have no clue about what a good football player is, but anyway, Charles said he swore he would not cry. He told everybody, I will not cry. And then he proceeded to cry. And he said, you wonder why grown men or women stand up here and cry. So I'm adding to it. Wait until you're 40, 50, or whatever, and then you will understand. Because at the end, you do understand. If you survive a career, it is your Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, our board, and the best officers in the back. Thank you.
Everything the chief said is true. I have a few words. I'm not a very good public speaker, but I want to make sure I get them out. I'm honored and thankful for the recognition from Neighborhood Watch. I think I've discussed this with you before. When I was deciding on whether to take the position with Neighborhood Watch, I was very nervous because public speaking is not something that I would ever choose to do. You all made me feel comfortable. I know we had lots of discussions about important things about Neighborhood Watch, policing, and security, but we also had lots of laughs. We attended lots of the events, the township events together as well, and I'll never forget that. And I'm not going far away, so you'll still see me. On April Fool's Day of 1991, Scott Woodford and I came to the Hatfield Police Station for our first day of work. And I'm glad that it wasn't a prank at this point. Although I was worried the chief was going to say something that maybe this was a prank, and that's a good prank for 30 years. I've always considered myself lucky to work here in Hatfield, and I've always been proud to say that I was a police officer from Hatfield Township. It has been a family-type situation for me. There were good times and bad times. The good times outweighed the bad times, but the bad times were pretty rough because they involved losing friends and coworkers like Bill Chapman, Tom Starner, Dave McCreesh most recently, and that's pretty rough. I never thought that this would be as emotional as it is, but it is. I couldn't have completed my police career without my family and my coworkers. My wife Lisa and my sons Adam and Sean, they had to put up with the normal things that families have to put up with for law enforcement officers, the schedules, the not being there on holidays, and all the other things that go along. And it's not the easiest of lives, but they put up with it. You have all, my coworkers and township employees, been so good to me and have helped me in ways that you don't know. But you all have, each and every one of you have. And I thank you for that, and I'll always be your friend, and I'm always going to be here. I'll always be around. Thank you.
Okay, so just for a moment, I'm going to change the focus from you, before we give you this, to your family. Because the words that you just said are probably some of the more important things, one of the more important messages we want to pass on as well. I don't know your wife and son very well, but I've heard great things, and I want to take some time just to thank each one of you. Lisa, first off, I've had a number of officers retire, and I have to tell you, each one at some point or another has just recognized that their husbands, their spouse has given so much to the township, and I point out to them that tonight is not just honoring him, it's honoring you because of all the things that Dan just described. The nights out that you wish that he were there, the family events that he could not have been at. Basically, he has given his life given a life of service to our township, and you've supported him in doing that. And for that, on behalf of the entire township, we owe you a great round of applause, and thank you very much. Now, Sean, I'm going to give you a big responsibility here, okay? Because you have a brother who's not able to make it, so you have to pass this on to him. A dear friend of mine said this one time, and I think it's very important. Children should always understand that there's moments in lives when mom and dad are recognized so that they understand how big a deal dad is and how cool he is. So at the time when you say, God, he's driving me nuts, and I wish that he would just get out of my room, I want you to remember this moment right now. And I say that with tongue-in-cheek, but the truth is, pass on to your brother. Your dad is one heck of a guy. He has protected the residents of Hatfield for 30 years. He has given his entire life to us. And tonight is just a mere moment in time when we get to say thank you. You just remember that for the rest of your life. Your dad is a really big deal. Give him a hug. And that's not today, but every day, and tell your brother to do the same. So congratulations to you, too. All right, I hand this out. I've handed out 3 or 4 of these, and I have to, at least, right? And it's a great honor, and at the same time, I always feel a little sad that we give this fantastic badge as you leave. You can change your mind.
I know. I can't. Not
I'm giving you one last moment to change.
Too late.
But really, this is just our token of affection and appreciation and thank you. On behalf of Hatfield Township, I'm going to give you this detective badge, retirement badge, and thank you for everything you've done.
Around at this point. Take your glasses off again. off Aaron's head, it wasn't mine.
Bouncing back.
It was glare, coming off your head.
All right, we know the fun part's over. Now it's the regular stuff of running the township. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. Feel free to stick around. It won't be a long meeting, the remainder of it. But we also know that there's a lot of commitments for people throughout the entire room here. So, again, just one last time, Dan, on behalf of the entire township, where are you? There he is. Thanks so much. I know that it's 7 days the chief can still order you around, but it'll end quickly. And now we hope that you are, yeah, he said 7 days, he's counting.
Tomorrow's the first day of Hell Week.
Waterworks didn't start. The chief is right.
Well, we could do it again. Well, thank you, and I know that you will be around, and we'd be happy to see you anytime. Thank you. All right. Not nearly as exciting. We're going to move on to our committee reports. First is Vice President Rogers, Planning and Zoning Committee.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
All right. Public Works Committee, Commissioner Lees. Aaron, anything for him to report tonight?
No report, Mr. President.
We are breezing through this evening. I do know that Commissioner Zimmerman has a Park and Rec Committee report, which is great because this is the time of year for that to happen.
Well, I'll make up for the lack of the other two.
Mr. President, do we want to pause just until?
Yeah, do we want to
so
just
we
take a
can
moment or
be
two?
able to
Yep.
Take a breather.
Under programming, we're continuing our story time series for September. The featured book is The Magic School Bus Rides the Wind. Registration is $5 and includes a storybook and activity kits. Children can read the stories and complete the activity kit individually or do it as a family. Registered participants can pick up their books and kits between September 7th through the 24th. Email pictures of the family reading and completed the activities to storybook@hatfield.org by the 25th to be included in our Storytime series post. We're still for September on Sundays, starting on the 12th, going through October, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the School Road Park Amphitheater, $50 a person. Get Fit Yoga on Thursdays, starting on the 23rd of September, 7 to 7:45, School Road Park Amphitheater, $60 a person. Ready Set Medicare Seminar, Thursday, October 21st, from 6:30 to 8:30. And we have the American Red Cross Babysitting Course, Saturday, November the 6th, 9:30 to 3, here in the community room. Registration, $5, and for all individuals ages 11 to 15. Some events that are going on, we have Movie in the Park, which will be this Friday, Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon, 8 o'clock. Dogapalooza coming September the 11th, 10 to 3 in the Aquatic Center. You can pre-register at hatfieldrec.com or complete the registration and pay at the door the day of the event. $5 a person, $10 for a dog. Rocktoberfest, we're going to go with that this year. Saturday, October 2nd, 11 to 3, School Road Park. Join us for some music, games, inflatables, food trucks, vendors, and more. And thanks to our sponsors, Vinny's Pizzarama, Liberty Urgent Care, and Harleysville Bank. Last Wednesday, we had the annual Dash and Splash 5K, which was a success. The rain held off, thank goodness. And we had over 100 participants, some in person, some virtual. Congratulations to all the runners, and it was great to see everyone again. And a huge thank you to all the volunteers, Run the Day, the Parks Board, the Pool Board, police, fire, and staff for working so hard to make this happen.
All right, good report. Public Safety Committee, we have one item, that is that's regarding the police coverage discussion, Route 309 and County Line Road. Aaron, I think, Chief, he's pointing back at you. He's
Here
not
we go
taking the
with this
ball.
again.
He's
So recently, Montgomery Township's chief had advised me that they had, I'll use the word petition, it's not really petition, but they had requested to be able to cover both sides of County Line Road because Township, or the other side of the road is in Bucks County. We have this like situation on County Line Road and Route 309. We're not permitted to enforce traffic, even though we travel that road by right or custom every day. We could see something, we could stop them and call over the other police department, but it really makes no sense. So after finding out the information from Chief Bendick, I asked Aaron if we could also go down that path. So I want to be able to approach Bucks County and get their green light to allow us to cite for traffic violations in the area of County Line Road that is within our travel, and the area 309 that was is within our travel. So basically from Hilltown Pike up to Peruzzi Toyota, it's not in Hatfield, it's Bucks County. But we travel the road every day, so it really makes sense that we should be able to enforce.
And they give the authority for us to be able to do that?
Both district attorneys would sign off on it if they so choose, as they did for Montgomery Township, and then we'd be able to do that. Citation would be filed in Bucks County, but we'd
Right.
be able to write them as our department.
And then hearings would be held in Bucks County? And accept that as, they'd be bound by it too, the district justices, to enforce it?
I mean, they could do it as they choose at
Well,
that
sure,
point.
but I mean, they couldn't dismiss it
They wouldn't
because...
just dismiss it because we were involved, correct?
Right, okay.
So it's something I would like to do. Aaron wanted to present it to the board, and something
We need a simple vote, or is that something that we can, do we need to go through a process for that?
At this point, Chief's going to go through the process on his end, and then
Okay.
at some point, it will come back in front of the board. There'll be an intergovernmental cooperation agreement, which by the board. So this is just a first step conversation.
Okay.
Chief will go continue the conversations, and then if it moves forward, we'll have it back in front of the board at some point for final decision.
So I'm going to look at my co-commissioners unless somebody tells me that they see some concern or objection to...
I just have a question. Is that similar to the agreement with Hilltown on that section of 309 by Peruzzi?
We have a municipal agreement that we are allowed to, that we will assist them with things, but as far as writing tickets, no. And I was just going to mention, Hilltown and New Britain, they also want to jump into this thing. So we're all going to meet with Chief Bendick, find out the steps he took, and then proceed down that road so that we'll all be on the same page at the same time.
Thank you.
Makes sense, so no objections? All right, Chief, then if you certainly have our go-ahead to move ahead with that. Okay. All right, nothing else for Public Safety. Finance Committee, Commissioner Andrews.
Yes, just a couple announcements. We'll be having a public budget and goals workshop meeting on October 20th at 6 p.m. Discuss the 2022 budget. Staff will be meeting in September to begin formulating the budget based on each department's needs. Public meeting is a good time for residents to provide feedback on what projects they believe should be Township. This year will be somewhat unique because of the money available to local governments from the American Recovery Act. Although the additional funds are always needed, the eligible expenses are very specific and will pertain to offsetting the loss of revenue due to COVID, and also upgrading stormwater facilities such as basins. This is a reminder, the vast majority of the budget consists of fixed costs such as pension obligations, insurance premiums, and wages. All portion that is discretionary is utilized for capital improvements and equipment purchases. We need to manage the budget with the taxpayers in mind for every decision that is made. We hope to see some of you for the budget meeting in October, and that's October 20th at 6 p.m.
All right. We don't have any action items for tonight. Township staff reports. Aaron, do you have anything?
Nothing tonight, Mr. President, just that we have a busy fall ahead of us, like Commissioner Andrews said, and we will have much more activity in the next few months.
Okay, solicitors report.
Nothing this evening.
Okay, and citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments? If you have any, you can go to the podium. Yes?
Hello, good evening. I'm Dr. Floyd Herman of Lansdale Plastic Surgery on 2405 North Broad Street in Omar, which is Hatfield Township.
I'm Dr. Itesh Govani. I'm a dentist on 2363 North Broad Street in Coma also.
Here to ask the township if they can investigate the gentleman, William Ashby, who has developed a shack in the back of our property, becoming quite a nuisance. Or to start the process, see what kind of help the township can provide to us.
Sure. You came to the right place, and we always like when people come out to township meetings.
Thank you.
The gentleman who steers us, our captain, is the gentleman right over there, Aaron Bebro. And you're great to start with us, but after the meeting, you're going to want to speak to him in particular because we'll get the details and we'll figure out exactly what the issue is, what's rights that person or the gentleman has, if any. And then our job is to then figure out if we can help.
Sure.
Yes, the one who's smiling.
Yeah, the other bold, good-looking one.
Thank you, then we'll talk about
Thank
that
you
in a
very
minute.
much.
Okay,
Sure,
good.
sure. No, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming out. Thank you very much. All right, any other comments or questions, citizens' comments or questions? All right, if not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers, second by Commissioner Andrus. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming out.